Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tochi, and this video I'll be answering questions you guys asked me. So I mentioned on my community tab some time ago that you guys should ask me questions regarding autism. I shared a video which I'm going to leave somewhere above the screen here. A lot of people had so many questions to ask me, so most of the questions I couldn't just explain them in writing. I had to do a video about them just to give you guys detailed answers on these questions. So in this video I will be answering all the questions you guys have asked me. I got questions on my community page, and I also got some questions on Instagram. I will be answering as many as I can. Questions about potty training, questions about my daughter's milestones and growth, and you might probably even see her in the video. I will just try as much as possible to be as open as I can to you guys and make sure that you guys enjoy this video and learn one or two things from the video. One of the reasons why I'm doing this is because sometime back when I was in my most challenging phase of this autism thing with my daughter and ADHD, whatever, I couldn't really get content. I couldn't really find mothers who talk about it. I noticed that a lot of women, a lot of Black women, especially women around us here, do not share their stories, and so a lot of children cannot be helped early. I believe so much in early intervention, but we tend to want to turn our eyes away from it and believe we did not see it till it gets so bad. That's why I'm sharing my story, so that somebody watching can pick one or two things and it would help you as well. So if you're interested in watching this video, please stay tuned. Don't forget to share this video to someone it might help. Share this video on your Facebook, Instagram, whatever form of social media you are. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and if you've not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe to my channel now. Just click the subscribe button and click the notification bell before it, so you can get notified every time I post a video. First of all, I want to clarify something. I am just a mother who is sharing her experience. I wish I had seen a lot of other mothers share their experience when I was in my lowest time. I wish I had watched other mothers and learned from them, or just felt like I'm not alone. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, one of the same reasons why I did the previous videos. So I am just a mother with experience, and by God's grace, I believe that God just gave me certain wisdom I needed to tackle this thing, which I'm going to share with you guys. Some of which I read from books, some of which I listened to people's experiences. But basically everything I'm going to be sharing now is my experience, and I believe we have come a really long way. I'm going to try my best to maybe do a compilation of videos of her growth, so you can actually see her, because you guys have only heard me say we beat autism. You guys have only heard me say she's progressing really well, but you have not seen for yourself. Those of you following me on my Instagram, I'm sure you would see my stories and see that the growth is massive, the growth is great. Yeah, so the first question. Oh, I just got another question now. A lot of people really think I am a therapist. I'm not a therapist, but based on what I have read, I am able to answer some questions, and I cannot answer some questions. Okay, I'm not going to read this one out, but let me just go to the questions on my community page, or let's start from Instagram. So this person says, how are you able to not go into depression when you realize those were signs of ADHD? Depression, I believe, is a big word. I did not go into depression, but I was terrified. It's not like I wasn't noticing the signs. It's not like I wasn't feeling like something was wrong. It's not like I hadn't heard of autism before. It's just that I feel like for a moment I just didn't think that something or anything like that could happen to me. I just felt like it was just one of those things that people have, or I just didn't think that such will be happening to me. So when I put one and two things together, I started reading about autism. I started reading signs of autism, and I see something that where they say check these 10 things to know if you have autism or if a child has autism, and there are 10 things, and out of those 10 things, 9, Abigail was showing signs of 9 of them. It was crazy. It was crazy. I cried. I wanted to talk to somebody. I was actually looking for someone to talk to that would tell me it is not, and I just really couldn't get as much voice as I wanted to, because a lot of these people I'm talking to, if they have children, their children are all very typical. There was nobody that had experienced this. It was just one person I met who didn't know anything about autism, and I mentioned in my last video, and she just left her son. He was doing all sorts of weird things, and she noticed them, but she didn't say anything about it. She didn't do anything about it till he dropped his language skills and just became absolutely mute, not saying anything. They had to start from beginning. That was when she started seeking help. That was when she heard about autism for the first time. So unfortunately we don't have enough awareness about this. That's why I mentioned the GTB awareness conference, which I have shared on my community page. I feel like it's a very enlightening program to go for. You get to meet people, you get to meet specialists. This is not sponsored, by the way, but yeah, it's very helpful. So I didn't go into depression, but I was really sad and I just cried my eyes out, and at the point I told myself that I needed to actually get up and do something and make something work. What was I going to do? I was praying, I was fasting, I was doing everything. I was trying my best to just make sure that I'm getting her all the help she needs. I started calling therapists, getting numbers of behavioral therapists, talking to them. Some people asked me a lot of questions, and they were like, most likely it is. And when I asked them about their fees, the fees they would give me would be so high that even, in fact, I don't know how much I have to work to make that kind of money, and it's like a monthly fee. So I even, at the point I was even thinking maybe she needed someone to assist her in school, because her teacher was actually complaining, that she was kind of difficult to work with in class. But then after some time I kind of calmed down, and I realized that I could use some things. Yeah, she used to watch TV before. She used to use my phone a lot before, but after that I cut off screen time. Okay, so let's not go into this. Bottom line is that, so yeah, I didn't go into depression. I just moved on to finding solution. I couldn't get the help of, when I realized I could not get the help of specialists because they were too expensive, I just went on to start looking for solution. I didn't go into depression, by God's grace, but it was a terrible phase. How is her progress so far? Her progress is great. It's massive, it's big, it's, like I always say, I wanted to see a mother who had gone through this and see what her child is like now. To me, I wished I could see the future. So now I think about it, those days I cried, those days I worried. If I had seen this future, I would have just gone to work, I would have just started doing what I needed to do to make her come back to normal, if there's anything like that. Please forgive me if I'm saying anything offensive, because a lot of people tend to take autism stuff very offensive. But her progress is great. She's doing very well. She can say her letters, she can say her numbers. She's been doing all that even while I was complaining. But now we're trying to make her have conversations, which she is doing very well in. She's having conversations. She can tell you what you're wearing, she can tell you what you're doing, she can answer questions, although she doesn't talk if you don't ask her. she sings a lot. If she comes in here now, she'll be singing, but she doesn't talk if you don't ask her, and even if you ask her, you have to give her a second to answer you. But she's doing beautifully, amazingly well. Even in her school, her teachers, everybody is so happy. Everybody is so happy about her. Like, they couldn't believe Abigail now. They couldn't believe the Abigail of then. Abigail reads now. Like, if you give her a book, she would read it. This is what her mates have not even started doing. Like, I know modern schooling now, they teach them Montessori kind of learning, but me and my husband, we don't know, because we learned the normal way, you know, ABCD. But now they are teaching them letters by their sounds. Abigail knows both ways, and she reads. I don't even know how we were able to teach her. We were just reading for her, showing her letters and sounds, just packing everything together, and she's reading already. So I feel like her future is really bright. She's doing probably even better than, not probably, she's doing better than a typical child will do. What strategies and methods did you use in teaching her and understanding her? Strategies and methods. First of all, have you guys, for those of you that watched my video and took one or two things from it, do you play songs for littles for your children? Did you go to the YouTube channel? I recommended that YouTube channel because it's very good for both the child and the parents. You know, if you watch it often, you notice that your child is catching some things from it. So like I said, you have to make it functional. But I feel like Song for Littles helped us greatly, and there's no way I'm going to talk about our progress without mentioning it, because it brought words for us. It gave us fun words to use, and also sign language, but he gave us the words to teach. And then she learned what words are, and she learned that talking can actually be interesting. She learned that you know, you don't just it's fun to talk, it's fun to express yourself, it's fun to ask for stuff by talking, you know. And this started from the words we got from Songs for Littles. So I won't really say that there was any particular method that we learned. It's just that TV is bad, screen time is bad, keep it away from your child. But if you have already fallen into that pit of TV, then use it to your advantage. So we used it to our advantage, and then I introduced Songs for Littles. So screen time was cut short, but whenever she has that screen time, I use it for only what I want her to know, what I want her to learn. For instance, I have this YouTube kit on a particular phone I used to give her. Meanwhile, I've had the opportunity to have somebody wanted to even give me a tab, buy her a tab, but I declined. I don't want her to have her own tab where I can collect and, you know, give it to her and collect. So when I give her YouTube YT kits, actually, I put off my data, because she knows how to come out of it and go to YouTube. I put off my data. I make sure that of course there's a password on it, so she cannot just go and browse through it. It's only the videos I have downloaded for her, which are the videos I want her to watch, and then when it's time up, I collect it from her. Most of the time I give her phone, mainly when I want to make her hair. That's when she has screen time, so she can stay in a place for me to make the hair. That's all. So yeah, there's no particular method I used, but talking to her, I kind of changed the tone of my voice. For instance, if I want to say, have you eaten today? If I was talking to you, if I was talking to a regular adult, I'll just say, have you eaten today? But if I'm talking to Abigail, I'll say, have you eaten? Have you eaten your food? I try to make it like, you know, change the how do I put it? I don't know. Change the tone of my voice, take it high and take it low. You get what I'm trying to say? I don't make my voice flat when I'm talking to her. I don't just talk to her like an adult. For instance, if she does something naughty, for an adult I might say, why did you do that? But for Abigail, I'll say, why did you do that? It kind of gets her interest. So she wants to talk to me when I talk like that, because it's interesting. And then subconsciously, she's actually getting the meaning of what I'm saying, and the words are even sitting in her head. So yeah, I talk to her even when she doesn't understand what I'm saying. So yeah, these were the words. Understanding her was not so difficult. When you stay with her very often, you tend to understand her. But she loves music. She loves music so greatly. So that was one way we were able to connect to each other. Sometimes you can even ask her, "How are you?" and she's singing, "I'm fine, thank you." So we used music to reach her very well. But at a point, I started trying to like drop that music because I don't want her to carry it and grow up with it for a very long time. I may be wrong, but this is just me telling you my own, from my own head. I don't want her to continue to sing everything. So I kind of started trying to stop the music, like drop the music thing. I know the music thing is in her. She's a music person. She loves music. She loves guitar. She loves piano, anything music. But I don't want it to affect her speech. I want us to be able to talk normally, because in this part of the world, if there's anything wrong, nobody wants to know if it's just autism, if it's just, oh, this child is just on the spectrum, this child is just ADHD, or it's just an attention thing, or whatever. They will treat you like crap. And I don't want my daughter to experience such, because I may not always be there to defend her. She may not always be able to defend herself, but I will try as much as possible to prepare her for the world. A lot of people were saying on my, coming to comment on my page, saying autism doesn't need to be beaten, autism is just a way, it's just a bit. Okay, fine, this is how this child is, I'm not disputing that, but I will try as much as possible to make this child prepared for the world, and that is by making that child drop certain habits that are not normal. Stimming, any form of stimming that is uncomfortable, any form of stimming that looks abnormal, try to tone it down as much as possible. Some people may be extra sensitive to this, but I know what I am saying. Have you seen where someone is autistic and people refer to that child as an imbecile? Yes, it happens a lot. And that's why I believe that a child showing signs needs early intervention, needs to be put in the right way. Fine, the signs may not ever completely go. Abigail still sings every single time. They say singing is a part of stimming, but I know what I'm doing to bring it down, and I'm trying to control it as much as I can to make sure that in the future nobody looks at her in any awkward way and she starts to feel some kind of way, you know. So I'm not going to just leave my child and say, oh, the child is autistic, or the child is has ADHD and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm going to try my best to beat it more. So if that word offends you guys, then I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, somebody else said, what advice will you give someone who is seeing those signs but doesn't want to believe it due to society? You're seeing the signs and you know about it, but you don't want to believe it due to society. You're doing yourself bad. Early intervention is key. By the time you are ready, because one day you will be ready to work on it, the child would have gone too far. You know why early intervention is key? Children grow up with what they see, what they learn. So a child of 1 year might be too early. When the child gets to 2 years, the child is now behaving like a 1-year-old. And you're trying to build that child to make sure that everything is, you know, lapping correctly, everything is put correctly. If you keep on delaying, as at the time when the child is, this is just like, I'm just giving you guys like an example, kind of. So the child is 2-year-old now, and then you start working on the child. Now the child is behaving like a 1-year-old, and the child is growing. The child gets to 3 years old, and the child is now able to do some things that a 2-year-old can do. You know, we're trying to meet up. We're trying to make sure that we close that gap as much as possible. But if you keep quiet, the child is 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you realize that, oh, I have to do something about it. Then you're trying to make the child say mama, dada, what the child could have started saying earlier on. So the gap is already wide. You have a lot of more work to put in, because this child is already seeing certain behaviors as normal. So that is why you need to start now to work on it. Early intervention is key. Let it be that you are over worried, you are over disturbing yourself, you are over trying, you are going here and there, running around. Let it be that you did all that and you did too much. It's better than you didn't do anything, hoping for the best, and then you have to now do double of that in the older age. So that's what I just have to say. Early intervention is key. So for this person saying that you're seeing the signs but you don't want to believe it due to society, sorry to say, but you're doing yourself worse than good. The moment you accept what you have seen, in fact, you don't even need to wait for a diagnosis. A lot of people are waiting for diagnosis. A lot of people have seen what is happening, but they are waiting to be diagnosed. Abigail was never actually diagnosed, you know, but I saw a child psychiatrist who told me that definitely this is what is happening. Your child is on the spectrum, but if you are able to put in the work, if you are able to see therapists, if you're able to do one or two things, this child can actually make progress. This child can actually do even better than a typical child. And I held on to that word, and trust me, she's doing very well now.